Can't the Jewish people be given this little tiny little piece of land that they call their own without people wanting to kill them and harm them? You know, it was very hard for me to become an American when I was that young. And there was a Zionist organization called Hashomer Hatzair, whose meetings were not very far from my house. And so when I was 12 and 13, I went there, and they sang Hebrew songs and did Hebrew dancing. And, you know, it was very confusing for me. I had gone to Catholic school. And, you know, I was used to crossing myself. It was a very weird thing to do when you went to Hashomer Hatzair, to cross yourself. But it was hard for me to develop an identity as to who I was. My family was chased because we were Jewish. I was in this place that was isolated and surrounded by nuns. Then I came to this country, and all of a sudden I was singing Hebrew songs and doing Hebrew dances and singing Am Yisrael Chai. And I realized as I was growing older and Israel became a state, and Israel immediately was attacked by all the surrounding countries and fought war after war after war, constantly surrounded by states. When I looked at the map and saw that Israel, just like the Jewish people on this planet, just a wee little country. The Jewish people on this planet are just a wee little percentage. But we take up a lot of air. We take up a lot of air. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about Jews as though we were the most populous people on the planet. Tiny little Israel. And I had to stop and think when I was 14, 15. Did all these countries, did Hungary and Ireland and Italy and the Dominican Republic and the United States, Bolivia, England, did all these people just deserve their countries? Can we not be Jews, Israelis, in this planet of ours? Can't the Jewish people be given this little tiny little piece of land that they call their own without people wanting to kill them and harm them and burn their babies and cut their arms off and cut their heads off and rape them? Can't we have this little piece of land as the Jewish people? We didn't want the big land. We don't want all of your lands. We just want this little piece of land. Do we not have the right to have this little piece of land? And the Palestinians, they have not been welcomed by their own. Their own hasn't come forth to deal with the Palestinians' humanity. But the world does demand that the Israelis deal with the Palestinian humanity. But the Jordanians and the Egyptians and the Qataris, they're not interested in the Palestinians' humanity. They're not interested in their life. All those people waving those Palestinian flags in front of universities, where were they? To help the Palestinians develop a government which was helpful to them, which created a water system so that they didn't depend on Israel's water system, so that they could grow their land just like Israel did and make it fertile. To take their beachfront, which is as beautiful as Israel's beachfront. And why didn't they build hotels with swimming pools and spas where people could come from all over the world to their Palestinian area and vacation. Why couldn't they build businesses and universities to educate their people, just like the Israelis did on this teeny-weeny little piece of land? But the people in Palestine elected leaders and had leaders that had one thing in mind. Not the benefit of the Palestinian people, not to have good crops, not to have big hotels and businesses, not to have universities where they create science. No. Their one aim for the last 70 years was to eradicate the state of Israel from the face of the earth. That was one aim. It is in every charter they have, in every letter they wrote, in every agreement they had. They wanted the eradication of Israel. That our planet is not big enough for this tiny, tiny little piece of land for the Jewish people. They did not want it, and they do not want it today. We are brothers, the Arabs and the Jews. The Jews are Middle Easterners, just like the Arabs. They're Semites. We come from the same ground. We come from the same ground. We have the same history. Why? Why can't we live in peace?